Guru Purnima, celebrated in India as a day to pay respects to your guru or teacher. For NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar, the irony is not lost that his disciple, nephew and most trusted lieutenant has chosen this time to turn the tables on him. Perhaps Ajit Pawar has learned from the best. After all, Sharad Pawar is known to be a shrewd and wily politician. For the state of Maharashtra, though, another chapter of betrayal, power grab and a fight for legacy has begun. Yesterday, Ajit Pawar and 8 others took oath as ministers in the Eknath Shinde government. They claim they have at least 35 MLAs of the NCP with them. The founder of the party, Sharad Pawar, says he is shocked but will rebuild his party. He is not going to take legal action but has asked the Speaker to disqualify these 8. This battle royale is also a sensational one because of the swiftness and secrecy around the coup by Ajit Pawar. The question now simply is, who has the numbers? Is it Ajit Pawar who did this same maneuver in 2019 as well? Remember, he tried to leave the party with MLAs. He joined Shinde-Fadnavis in the early hours of the morning, had a swearing-in ceremony, but had to come back. Or will it be Sharad Pawar, who is no stranger to internal challenges and managed to get all his MLAs back in 2019? For this, we have to understand the current breakup of the Maharashtra Assembly. As of today, the BJP has 105 seats. The Shinde Sena camp has 40. Even without Ajit Pawar, the government was comfortably placed at the halfway mark. On Sunday, their numbers have swelled up to 180 if we take Ajit Pawar's claims of having 35 MLAs with him at face value. Remember, he still has to prove this claim. The real number for Ajit Pawar, the important one, is 36. And here is why. The NCP has 53 MLAs in all. To avoid the anti-defection law that would immediately disqualify him, Ajit Pawar needs to prove that 2/3 of elected MLAs are with him. That number is 36. So far, 9 people, including him, have been sworn in as ministers. But these 9 are powerful leaders of the NCP. Can they effectively snatch the party from Sharad Pawar, or will India's most seasoned politician prevail again? Here is what both sides said today.
सुनील तटकरे साहेबांची नेमणूक केली गेली असल्यामुळे आम्ही जे करतोय ते पक्षाच्या हिताचंच करतोय. त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी सांगून काही आमच्या 9 लोकांना नोटीस काढली वगैरे काढली, त्यांना काही नोटीस काढण्याचा अधिकार नाहीये. शेवटी पक्ष आणि चिन्ह हे आमच्या बरोबर आहे असं आमचा ठाम विश्वास है.
हमारी उनको हाथ जोड़कर विनती है कि पार्टी के बहुसंख्यक आमदार और पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता और पार्टी के जन सामान्य कार्यकर्ताओं की इच्छा का वो आदर करे. और जो भी कुछ अभी ये एक प्रकार से हमारे हिसाब से कोई बात नहीं है, मगर एक प्रकार से जो एक चित्र जो नजर आ रहा है ये समाप्त हो जाए और उनका आशीर्वाद हम पर, सब पर और पूरी पार्टी के ऊपर हमेशा बना रहे.
आम्ही लोकांनी कष्ट केले, या सगळ्या तरुणांना योग्य दिशा दिली, कार्यक्रम दिला, तर माझी खात्री आहे की 2 ते 3 महिन्याच्या प्रयत्नानं सगळं महाराष्ट्राचं चित्र राष्ट्रवादीला अनुकूल करण्याच्या संबंधीची भूमिका बजावता येईल. त्याची सुरुवात इथून झाली, याचा मला आनंद आहे. आजचा दिवस हा गुरु पौर्णिमेचा दिवस आहे आणि गुरु पौर्णिमेच्या दिवशी एखादी महत्त्वाची मोहीम सुरू करायची असेल तर ज्यांनी गुरुत्व आमच्या जीवनामध्ये अखंडपणाने शेवटपर्यंत पाहिलं त्यांना स्मरण करावं, त्यांच्या समाधीस्थळमधून ही सुरुवात करावी आणि म्हणून कराडपासून ही सुरुवात केली. यशवंतराव चव्हाणांच्या समाधीला नमन करून.
पवार साहब के पार्टी में कुछ लोगों ने निर्णय लिया है वो तो इनडिसिप्लिनरी रिएक्शन तो होता है। अब उसके अंदर पार्टी में क्या है उनके साहब के, पवार साहब के, तो मैं क्या उसका पर टिप्पणी करूं, लेकिन ठीक है, हमारे यहाँ भी हो गया। जहां जहां बीजेपी पार्टी तोड़ सकती है तोड़ने की कोशिश करेगी, 2024 तक बाद में देखा जाएगा।
सर, अब ये भी बात चर्चा उठ पड़ी है कि बिहार, अगला नंबर बिहार में हो सकता है ऐसा।
जहां भी हो, ये ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स, पावर्स, उसका गेम चल रहा है।
सर, एक सवाल ये भी है, आज शरद पवार साहब सड़कों पर निकले हैं, जनता उनके साथ।
देखिए, हम हमेशा जनता में रहने वाले नेता है, तो 2-4 लोग तोड़ने से पार्टी नहीं टूटती।
Now, to understand what happens next, we must delve into the anti-defection law. Remember, there's been a quick number of moves on both sides. While Ajit Pawar has been naming his own leaders as various heads and office bearers of the party, Sharad Pawar has also been issuing statement after statement, sacking some people, disqualifying some and reinstating others. So the fight now is a grab for the party. So what does the anti-defection law, which is at the root of all of this, say? The 10th schedule of the Constitution deals with these provisions. It says an MLA or MP can be disqualified if they voluntarily give up the party membership or vote contrary to party directions. This would also be applicable if the MLA or MP goes against the party whip and abstains from voting. But if 2/3 of elected members do all of this together, they all get together and defy the party, the whole situation changes. They're no longer considered to have defected. The decision, the final decision, of course, in this case will be with the Speaker. Now, the Speaker of Maharashtra, Rahul Narvekar, is the one who will decide. Just a fun fact, Mr. Narvekar has still not decided on the disqualification of 16 Sena MLAs, including Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. The Supreme Court has asked him to take a call on this last month. This decision is pending nearly a year. So who knows when we will have a decision on Mr. Ajit Pawar and the others. At the end of the day, the question is who finally has the numbers? What happens next? Will this NCP split go the Sena way, and will Sharad Pawar be left with a fraction of his party like Uddhav Thackeray? Well, at least one leader has come back. Member of Parliament Amol Kole was seen at Raj Bhavan yesterday with Ajit Pawar, but 24 hours later, he says he's had a change of heart. Let's begin the conversation with him. I'm speaking now with Mr. Amol Kole, MP from Shirur, who's had a change of heart in the last 24 hours. He was seen on Sunday at Raj Bhavan next to Mr. Ajit Pawar when Mr. Ajit Pawar and others from the NCP were taking oath, and today he has tweeted out saying that he is backing Mr. Sharad Pawar. Thank you so much, Mr. Amol Kole, for speaking with us here on Beyond the Headline. Just to understand, what changed in the last 24 hours?
Actually, yesterday I went to meet Honorable Ajit Pawar regarding some different matter. We had some different discussion, and I was not at all aware of the oath-taking ceremony happening on the same day. And when I was sitting at the oath-taking ceremony, I was actually thinking about where my stand is going to be. And I immediately called up my office and told them to keep my resignation ready. Resignation as MP, because this is not the reason why I came into politics, why I joined politics, to witness all this. And then I had call with Honorable Sharad Pawar Sahab, and I told him, ki, sir, I'm thinking of resigning because this is not the reason I came into politics for. Then he said ki he's coming on 4th to Mumbai, we'll meet and then we'll discuss. And while thinking, it was utter shock for me. This oath-taking ceremony was a shock for me, as I have closely worked with Ajit Dada for a long time since I came into party. He had been my mentor, but it was very difficult for me to digest this decision. And when I thought, I gave it a thought. So, in looking at today's scenario of country's democracy, credibility, answerability, and moral values seem like they have gone for a toss. So I took my decision, I took my stand.
No, Mr. Kole, what's also frankly a little difficult to digest is that you found yourself in Raj Bhavan attending an oath ceremony, but you didn't know what it was. What did you think all of you all were going to Raj Bhavan for?
Yeah. While we were all on Devgiri, immediately we there only we came to know that yes, we are heading for Raj Bhavan, and it's for oath-taking ceremony. So having closely worked with all these leaders for so long, uh, it never struck my mind to move away from there, or there was not that situation.
Right now, there is such a cynical view of politics and what has happened in Maharashtra since 2019. So forgive my cynicism. But people are wondering what is going on. One day people are in one party, the other day they're in another party.
Exactly, these thoughts were running in my mind. And if a person thinks of resigning from his post of member of parliament, is not definitely for what he's not getting or what he's getting. Basically, the question is why an educated person should believe in democracy. If this happens every now and then, and not only in Maharashtra, but across all states, because today I'm hearing some news on electronic media about Bihar also. So if this keeps happening, if in such manner governments are being toppled or parties are being broken, where the democracy is going to be and what the voters are going to think, which they have voted, believing in some or the other ideology.
What do you think
be
has
it
happened? What do you think has happened? Because when these events took place, many were not surprised. It was well known that Mr. Ajit Pawar was unhappy. He was not given the leadership of the party as he expected, maybe. He has wanted this position as Deputy Chief Minister. He's been Deputy CM under Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, under Mr. Shinde-Fadnavis, and now under Mr. Eknath Shinde. So, was this going to happen sooner or later?
See, always such rumors were spreading every now and then, but nobody had expected that this will happen so soon and in such a hastened manner.
Now you have come back, Mr. Kolhe. Do you think there will be others? Is this the beginning, or this time around it will be difficult for Mr. Sharad Pawar to hold on to his party? Because what we are seeing is not just a challenge to him politically. We are seeing a repeat of what happened in the Shiv Sena some time ago. A challenge to the NCP's identity. This faction is now saying, we are the NCP.
See, I cannot talk about others because others are MLAs. Everybody of them represents at least 3 to 5 lakh people, and everybody of them is into politics since long years. And they have worked for their constituency, they have worked for the party also. So I'm not in a position to comment about them. But yes, I can comment about myself. What you rightly said, ki it is happening with the party, but more than that, I can say it is happening with the democracy. And definitely, as Honorable Pawar Sahab has declared, he is going to take the battle to the people. And Maharashtra being a land of fighters like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, definitely youth of Maharashtra will support Honorable Pawar Sahab.
Do you think that Mr. Sharad Pawar can win this battle? His key person, Mr. Ajit Pawar, has broken ranks. He's claiming most of the MLAs with him. He has most of the party cadre with him. Do you think Mr. Sharad Pawar can hold on to this party and its symbol, or will this go the way it has for Mr. Uddhav Thackeray?
This situation is not new for Honorable Pawar Sahab. He has experienced it in past couple of times also. And also in yesterday's press conference, Honorable Pawar Sahab has declared himself that this symbol and these things don't mean a lot for him because he has the knack to win confidence of the people. So it will be Honorable Pawar Sahab who is in best position to comment about all this.
Okay, last question from you. I was listening to all the comments coming in after these, very, very shocking turn of events, and some of the comments coming in from sitting ministers in the Maharashtra government. One of them said that we don't have an opposition anymore in the state. Where is the opposition? What would you say to that? For the state of Maharashtra, has the opposition now found itself really diminished and in a corner? Who is left?
Time will definitely give this answer, and when Honorable Pawar Sahab will take it to the crowd. I don't know which minister has quoted this, but I would like to tell that Honorable Minister that जो एक फिल्म का डायलॉग है, don't underestimate the power of common man.
आप फिल्मों की बात कर रहे हैं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली फिल्मों में नेताओं की जो छवि है वो बहुत खास नहीं होती है. And what's happening in Maharashtra since 2019 has underscored this. That netas work only for themselves. This is a general mindset. I'm not speaking about anyone personally. Netas work only for themselves. वो अपने लिए काम करते हैं, जहाँ पर उनको पद या पैसे मिल रहे हैं वहाँ पर चले जाते हैं. आइडियोलॉजी का कोई मतलब नहीं है. आपने उनके लिए जो वोट किया उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे महाराष्ट्र के लोगों को?
I fully agree with you, and that's why if you look at my tweet carefully, तो मैंने वही कहा है कि दिल और दिमाग के बीच में जब जंग होती है तो कई बार शायद दिमाग नैतिकता का साथ छोड़ दे, लेकिन दिल नहीं छोड़ता, तो दिल की सुननी चाहिए. मैंने अपने दिल की सुनी, because I want to be loyal to my voters who have voted me and who have elected a person like me who has no political background as member of parliament. They have seen me raising their voice in the parliament for last 4 years. और मेरे लिए ये कोई जवाब नहीं था. I didn't have any answer कि what is the reason I should be rubbing shoulders with the people whom I criticize for their policies. So I chose my voice, my inner voice, and so my decision is in front of people that I stood by my moral values, I stood by my credibility, and I stood by my answerability.
Do you think there will be others who will join you and come back from the other side?
Coming few days will make all the picture clear.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking with us. MP from Shirur, Amol Kolhe, who has said he's listened to the voice of his heart and come back to support Mr. Sharad Pawar in what will no doubt be one of the biggest battles of this veteran politician's career. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
All right, the question still remains, where does this go legally? Where does this go politically? Subhash Jha, advocate, is with me on the show. I'm speaking with Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate, and Rohit Chandavarkar, senior journalist, with us today. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. Rohit Chandavarkar, you know, we keep having these conversations when there is a new set of turmoil in Maharashtra politics. And so far, there has been no dearth of twists and turns. Now, we've had one claim of numbers. Actually, I've seen a variety of claims. The claim we have is we have 35 MLAs and 7 more may join the NCP. What's the number you're hearing?
Tamanna, you only speak to me when there is turmoil in Maharashtra politics. So
luckily, I get to speak to you often.
I wish there is more turmoil. Anyway, keeping jokes apart. See, the thing is that, you know, this started unfolding from 2nd of May 2023. 2 months ago, when Mr. Sharad Pawar got a hint that there was something going on between the BJP and Ajit Pawar. So he ensured that he kind of garners support and establishes himself by first announcing his resignation or retirement, whatever you want to call it, and then within 3 or 4 days, ensuring that everybody comes and says that, you know, they want him to be in command, etc., giving a clear signal to Ajit Pawar that he is in command, Sharad Pawar is in command. After that, of course, BJP is a party which will not give up. Ajit Pawar also has ambitions. So in the last 2 months, from that point to about 2nd of July, let's say, or 3rd of July, what has happened is, my guess is Ajit Pawar has taken stock of, you know, what kind of support he actually has among the MLAs. Because remember, all this finally boils down to the state assembly and the head count that happens there. Even the Honorable Supreme Court has said that you have to, you know, go by what the numbers are in the assembly, and the speaker there will take a call. So obviously Ajit Pawar and a few others with him, let's say Praful Patel or Chhagan Bhujbal or whoever, 2-3 others, they have used these, in my view, is these 2 months to take stock of, you know, who they can get on their side. And my guess is that they are very smart politicians. So my guess is that they know that they have enough numbers. Now, 36 is the figure for them to cross to ensure that there is no anti-defection law problem for them. So I think they must be sure, in my view, that before going to Raj Bhavan and taking oath, they know that they have 36 or slightly more. Now, the crucial question, Tamanna, my analysis, this was just information or inference. Now, my analysis quickly is that Maharashtra is a peculiar state where you see that since last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, politicians have started changing their minds faster than the seasons. So you never know, some group of MLAs might tell Ajit Pawar that they are with him. Then they might change their mind. On the 5th of July, that is 2 days from now, there is going to be a head-on Sharad Pawar versus Ajit Pawar, meetings in Mumbai, close to Lilavati Hospital, there's going to be a Ajit Pawar MLA meeting. He is kept on 5th. Same day, Sharad Pawar says there's a meeting in South Mumbai at YB Chavan Center where he wants all the MLAs to come. So it's going to be like a WWE kind of a head-on clash, which you might see on 5th, and you might see all the drama in media, all the channels and all of that.
We saw a redux.
But
it's a redux of 2019. It's a redux
Exactly.
of 2019
now,
when Mr. Pawar was sitting in YB Chavan, and
Yes.
over the hours, MLAs were trickling in. And finally, by that evening, Ajit Pawar had to go meet him at Silver Oaks.
Yes. So the drama is, on 5th, this will happen. And you will see some people with Ajit Pawar. You will see some people with Sharad Pawar, and they will cry and there'll be emotions and all of that. I can predict that. But the assembly session starts on 17th of July, and you don't know what will happen between 5th and 17th. So the politicians in Maharashtra are changing their mind too often, and you can't trust any of them.
I just
any
spoke
of
to
the
one.
MLAs.
I just spoke to one before I got
Yes,
to this
he-
conversation who
yeah,
says
he's
he
an
doesn't
MP.
know what he was doing. He's an MP, so not an MLA.
He's an MP. He's outside this circle.
Correct,
He's an
correct,
MP.
correct.
But these MLAs, you never know. They will
No,
show
but what was
they'll
interesting,
go-
I agree he's an MP, Rohit, but what was interesting to me is that he says, I realized when I was in Raj Bhavan that this was an oath-taking ceremony. And then I asked him the question, what did you think was going to happen in Raj Bhavan? What did you think was going to happen? So we're going to hear a lot of these.
So the other honorable panelists on this discussion, they are very honorable and expert people. They will give their legal views and all of that. But what I want to focus on, or your viewers to focus on, is this emotional thing and this unpredictability of these people, these men men and some women also, who will jump the boat almost every week, and you don't know, they'll go this side, they'll come back this side, and they'll perhaps go that side. So that is a variable factor which you will see unfolding in Maharashtra politics, and more drama happening. Just one last point: in Maharashtra, you see this new pattern that BJP has brought. Obviously, BJP is testing this pattern. I want to call it a Maharashtra pattern, or you can title it or name it Shinde pattern, where this group of MLAs come out and they start claiming they are the real party. You have not seen this anywhere in India before. You have seen defections in Maharashtra also, elsewhere in India.
It's the Maharashtra model. It's the Maharashtra model where you don't have a group of people defecting. It's the whole party. Okay, Sanjay Hegde, I want to understand. That's of course the politics of it, which Rohit Chandavarkar has explained in a very interesting manner. 5th is going to be that WWE clash between Pawar versus Pawar. But all of it, at the end of the day, only matters on what happens in the assembly, isn't it? And do you see this eventually going to court? Is this going to turn into, your view, another fight at the Election Commission, at the High Court and then the Supreme Court over name of the party and symbol?
See, between the Shiv Sena defections and the NCP defections, there's one event which has happened. That is the 5-judge judgment of the Supreme Court in the Shiv Sena matter. And there the Supreme Court made it very clear how the 10th schedule works. There is no question of walking off with the party just because you walked off with the legislators. The party is different, the legislative party is different. You can have an act of defection. Somebody can then take you to the tribunal, which is the speaker. There you can have a defense saying, no, I did not defect because my party merged with another party and 2/3 of the MLAs have approved such merger. So they, having set down the law that way, they have asked the speaker to go into the question of the defections of the original Shiv Sena. That's that lot of 16, the speaker, Mr. Narvekar, has, as you said, not yet decided. I was listening in to some other channels also, and Mr. Sanjay Rao seems to think that now the speaker will disqualify the original lot of 16, including Mr. Eknath Shinde. And so you may well have that chief minister going and possibly Ajit Dada Pawar stepping up. We don't know which way all these things go. But as far as going to court, I have a suspicion that these matters, that the NCP of Mr. Sharad Pawar may not go to court immediately. Mr. Pawar has said that he will not be taking steps in court, but he will probably be going to the court of the people. The thing is that this assembly has about a year to go, or possibly even shorter if it is dissolved before that time. By the time you have a verdict from the speaker, which then can be subject to court proceedings in the courts, you will not have a final verdict during the lifetime of this assembly. There will be a lot of posturing, but I doubt that there is going to be, other than the lawyers making money, there is going to be much joy from the courts.
Yeah.
This fight will ultimately be political. Every time a party splits, the ultimate people who resolve it are the electors. The Anna-DMK split in Tamil Nadu, and then there were two people who claimed to be CM, this, that, and the other. Finally, the electorate decided it. Long ago, there was a split in the Congress between Mrs. Gandhi's faction and the other faction, and the voters decided. So we are in a state of flux. There will be, as Mr. Suryavanshi said, people who will be changing their minds, people who will hop in this way, that way, and everything. But ultimately, they will be looking to see which side is likely to be the winning combination in the next election. No,
so in the interim, what happens to the NCP name? Let me bring Subhash Jha into this.
Just one more thing, Tamanna, if you don't mind.
Sure.
There is a separate process insofar as the symbol is concerned.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to.
That process will be in the election commission.
Okay. So
that does not decide who is the party. Just because you have the symbol doesn't mean that you are the party.
Yes, but going into the next election, that becomes important, doesn't it?
That does become important for your voters.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get the view of Subhash Jha on whether this will go the legal route. Is this just going to be political? At the end of the day, I mean, isn't this taking voters for a jolly ride? What is it saying for the voters of the state of Maharashtra?
Certainly, yes. Look at what has been happening in the state of Bihar. And Maharashtra possibly is falling in line with what has been happening in the past in other states. Is also seems to be happening in the state of Maharashtra as well. See, so far as I see a huge, massive legal battle everywhere. It will be fought in all the courts. It will be fought in the assembly, outside the assembly, with the people, and espousing. Everybody is seeking to espouse cause of the common man. That will be the claim. But this matter is certainly going to go to High Court and to the Supreme Court, and also to the Election Commission on the issue of who will have the symbol with him. So I see a huge legal battle in the days to come to take place. And Mr. Aghadi has rightly said that ultimately could be a good news for the lawyers who would be.
Who do you think has the numbers, Mr. Jha? Who has the numbers? Will Senior Pawar, prevail once again like he did in 2019? Remember, he stood there in YB Chavan. He sat there for hours till all the MLAs came back, enough came back, and Ajit Pawar had to also toe the line.
Tamanna, to be very frank with you, what happened in 2019, Ajit Pawar became Deputy CM for a few days, and thereafter, in the next few days, he walked out. I mean, let us hope that it doesn't, the so-called arrangement, it doesn't fizzle out the way it fizzled out in the year 2019. Now, if it fizzles out this time again, and I see Devendra Fadnavis taking a very important role, playing an important role in the earlier arrangement which he made with Ajit Pawar, and this arrangement, then it could be seriously denting the image and reputation of Devendra Fadnavis as well as a political leader in the state.
Okay. Rohit Chandavarkar, at the end of the day, whether they go to court, they stay in limbo, whatever happens on 17th July, the conspiracy theory is, could all of this actually have happened without Sharad Pawar having any idea? And that's been going on through the day, that leaders like Praful Patel, leaders who have been so close to Sharad Pawar, loyalists of Sharad Pawar, would they have all en masse, picked up and left, and Mr. Pawar had no clue? Is this really going to be the split of the NCP, or is this some nudge, nudge, wink, wink sort of arrangement going on? Because that's one of the conspiracy theories.
Great question, and everybody is talking about this on social media.
Yeah.
So there is a difference between two words: idea, having an idea, and consent. Those are two different words. So I think Sharad Pawar definitely had an idea about all this, because Ajit Pawar, being Ajit Pawar, he's been very vocal, and he just speaks his mind always. So he has been saying this in internal party meetings for the last 2 years, that why can't we go with the BJP or whatever. So obviously Sharad Pawar had an idea that something was happening, and he's planning this kind of a thing. That's why the first week of May episode happened, which I described earlier. Now, whether there is consent, on that I will say no. Mr. Sharad Pawar is not giving his consent for this. That is my inference, the way I know Mr. Sharad Pawar. You remember his autobiography is called On My Terms. That is the title of his autobiography, and he knows once he goes with this alliance, nothing will go according to his terms. So he's a politician who, at this stage in his career and life, doesn't want to get into that compromise. So I think he knew that Ajit Pawar is doing all these things, but he didn't want to give his consent. Now that things have come to this stage, I think he wants to raise this flag and give it a shot, and take up a fight and kind of go to the masses of Maharashtra, because that is the fighter spirit that he has always exhibited. In 2019 also, before the polls, all the campaign that he did in rain and all of that. And he's a born fighter, so he wants to take that up. The way he's issued letters, the way he's speaking to media, the way he's traveling and doing all those things, I don't think he's given his consent
and
to
what
Ajit
happens
Pawar
if
and Praful Patel.
No, so
to
who
what they
wins
are
this?
doing.
Who do you see winning this fight, Rohit?
So if I knew the answer to that question, I would be in Mr. Sharad Pawar's place, I guess. Nobody knows. I mean, this is a very complicated thing, because as I said earlier, these MLAs can't be trusted.
No fines for wrong
between 5th
answers.
of
We're not
July-
going to hold you to it. What's your guesstimate at this point?
Yeah. So my thing is, it all depends on how many numbers actually Ajit Pawar is able to show on the 17th of July in the assembly. Don't go by the 5th of July show, because that's where you will see a battle, and you will see media, going dramatic with all the claims and counterclaims. And remember, Tamanna, this is a battle of perception. It's a battle of emotions. This is going to be a battle of social media, battle on social media, memes, and all of that. All of that will play up to 5th, beyond 5th. But on 17th, actually, how many MLAs stick with Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel and company is what matters, and that's what I think will give you the answer. Frankly speaking, nobody right now knows how many MLAs will be there on 17th and 17th onwards in Maharashtra Assembly monsoon session with Ajit Pawar backing Ajit Pawar, because we didn't know the answer. Remember, 1 year ago, exactly the same drama played with Eknath Shinde.
Yep.
And I remember you asked me these questions, and I was telling you, let's see how many go to Guwahati. Let's see how many come back from Guwahati and stay with Shinde. And frankly, we can't read the minds of these people, and they're very unpredictable.
But in a matter of a week, it was clear. It was clear fairly quickly that Uddhav Thackeray has lost the battle. That's when he went and said, "I'm quitting." So it was clear. Let's see how much time it takes here. And it's also a different leader, right? This is Mr. Sharad Pawar we're talking about.
So last line is, Mr. Pawar is not exactly young. We can't call him young and active. That is part one. Part two is BJP is extra aggressive this time. Third thing which I was mentioning, third point is this is a test, formula that they are using in Maharashtra. They used it with Eknath Shinde. They're using with Ajit Pawar now. So you can call it a formula, almost a template that they have created. And they might use this in Bihar and other places where regional parties are active. If it succeeds in Maharashtra, obviously the litmus test is elections, and nobody knows whether on the ground this formula, this template will work. but they will give it a big shot, especially in Lok Sabha elections, because they are worried about the opposition unity. Now, Maha Vikas Aghadi's unity in Maharashtra worried them, and that's one factor why they have got active with this
Right.
Maharashtra formula, Maharashtra pattern, that if you want to call it that. They might use it in the south also, where regional parties are very aggressive and successful, and BJP has little presence. So this is a fantastic, dramatic kind of a thing that is unfolding right now in Maharashtra. BJP testing this new formula, and we don't know whether it will succeed. And 17th onwards, we will know how.
All
things
right,
play
true
out.
test
Of
on the
course,
17th.
court
Sanjay
battles and other
Hegde,
things.
yeah, I want to ask you, what is the use of this anti-defection law in this day and age and in the current political climate? It's become a bit of a joke, hasn't it?
Well, I have written in the Deccan Herald more than a year ago that it's time to scrap the anti-defection law. Quite forget all this about buying MLAs, whether retail or wholesale. The basic problem with the anti-defection law is that it takes away the legislators' individuality and their attention to any legislative measure. Because if at the end of the day they have to vote according to their party whip, then why should they consider any bill? Why should they consider any amendments? We are getting people who are there just to hold a place, that I am MLA for so-and-so, I am MP for so-and-so, and I am from this party, I stick with this party, whatever, right, wrong, or the other, I will vote according to the party. I think the essence of a true parliamentary democracy will come when each MLA or each MP is responsible directly to the constituency that has elected him. And if he changes sides, he knows very well that he or she knows very well that he will not be forgiven, not only by his electors, but he will be out of the political system. Do you see, even in the absence of an anti-defection law, anything like this happening in the United Kingdom, for instance? People don't change their political parties, or if they do, if they grossly disagree, then they get out of politics altogether. We have to evolve as a parliamentary democracy. To stop Ayaram and Gayaram, you brought in the anti-defection law way back in the 1980s. Then it has allowed a lot of retail defection. Now you have come to the stage where you have wholesale defection. But defection remains defection. And it is when people get involved in a democracy, when they hold their elected representatives to very strict account, that's when a democracy works.
Yeah.
You cannot just mandate sticking together.
Subhash Kejha, do you think we need to relook at it? Because now what about a position where a party genuinely has split up, their views have changed, and that's happened several times in Indian politics?
I do believe we should
not
get
that,
rid of
What,
it.
Subhash Jha? That's a question for Subhash Jha, please. Yes.
Not that we have not seen anti-defection law being brought to the statute book. It was by way of a 52nd Amendment. It was brought in 1985. The original figure was 1/3. So 1/3 if defects, then you're out of the rigor of anti-defection law. Then in 2003, by way of 91st Amendment, the number was increased to 2/3. Now you require 2/3 member to defect so as to get out of the rigor of anti-defection law. So not that, and what Sanjay Hegde has said, I think these are debatable questions. I mean, you can't really decide because it requires a lot of deliberations, a lot of discussions. There are pros and cons. What Sanjay has said is also one way of looking at the problem. But look at the other way also, that if certain people, if a large number of people decides to move away from the leadership, then possibly how can you restrain them, or how, for that matter, any law can stop them from going and aligning with other political party?
And there is no dearth of options over here. Sanjay Hegde was talking about UK, the plethora of parties to choose from. in India. It's like a richer democratic fabric in that sense, more diverse parties in terms of choice. I'm going to have to wrap it here. Quick point from you, Mr. Hegde, if you want to respond, but very quickly, please.
I just want to get this idea out of people's heads that 1/3 has become 2/3. That works only when the party, the original political party, merges with another political party and 2/3 people. So it's not a question only of the MLAs. It's a question of the party. And that is what the Supreme Court has made a change.
All right. We'll have to wrap this part of the conversation here. And I want to thank all of you for joining us.